Greetings, my name is Stephen Reiff, and I'm standing at the Hub Culture Studio here in Davos at the tail end of the World Economic Forum, and I'm joined by a fellow Texan, Jonathan Hoeflinger, who is the president of ShareMeister,
yes,
right?
Sir.
And so you're a media distribution company focused on the social enterprise. So tell me, a lot of buzzwords there. Tell me a little bit more about the company and what you all do.
Sure. What we do, we realized that the world needed a solution that was designed around at the heart of sustainability, and for us, what that looked like is being able to create a distribution system for media that could help organize large ecosystems that are trying to tell a story to solve a problem. And a lot of times, as we've been here, World Economic Forum, the conversation's been around artificial intelligence and how do we apply these things, and a lot of times people are talking about awareness, which is great. Hey, we're all aware that we have a problem, but at the end of the day, the question becomes, what do we do to engage once we get beyond that? And as we look at ShareMeister, we do a lot of work around aligning with living systems. So you think about, okay, artificial intelligence, the brain, these things make sense. It's very cerebral, but when you look at what a brain does, you realize it doesn't move resources to area of greatest need. It doesn't necessarily heal the body. But when you look at what the heart does, it's very clear that the heart is moving resources to area of greatest need. It's giving energy to the body, and it's also healing the body. So for us, with ShareMeister, is we realized with a media distribution system in place, we could help everyone involved in and around these organizations, these companies, these nonprofits, these key influencers out here telling stories, working to make a difference, where everybody could play and align with the heart set of what they were trying to accomplish, but do so in a way that was going to sustain our communities in a positive light.
Okay. Help bring it to life a little bit. I know some people describe companies as this is the Uber for what, and I don't know if you have a little catchy phrase like that.
No, we're the ShareMeister for ShareMeister. Like, we're just a system that we feel has really tried to take a look at where the world is at and what are we not addressing that needs to be addressed to solve the problems we're trying to solve. Some of those things, some of those things have to do with the Sustainable Development Goals, right? Okay. You've got, a lot of people may not be familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals. You've got no poverty, zero hunger, better education, health and wellness, gender equality, and there's all these things that we care about as people in our everyday lives. What we do within ShareMeister, we have a set of tools that integrate into media systems and help make things go. So as we engage audiences, they can engage back. So for example, with the One for All Media initiative that we're working with, we have a great team with people that are putting out content to raise awareness. Well, that's great. We have awareness. We know about something that we care about and we want to get involved with, but what do we then need to do to activate people, right? Which you can pledge at One for All and pick the goal that you care about. But from that point forward, it's about application. What are the different things that we can do in our everyday lives on a local level, so that as we're solving problems locally, we can better the world globally. And those things, as you're going through awareness, activation, application, this is how we drive affluence in our world. This is how we solve problems. And all those things bring us to a point of what to pay attention to, right? And that's the data of the heart, right? And those things then recycle back into our artificial intelligence systems, and then the whole system flows. So for us, we really feel it's important that while we're building AI in the brain side, we need to find a way to connect the brain to the heart, and that's where ShareMeister lives.
Okay, great. Shifting gears a little bit. So, leader of a company.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you're facing as a young leader of a growing organization?
Well, I think obviously when you're a young organization, you're trying to prove yourself, right? You're trying to put yourself out there in a positive light. And for us, the only thing we really focus on as a company, and I think even as we're trying to deal with this conversation around fake news and what is that and all these buzzwords that are out there, at the end of the day, the difference between fake news and real news or news that we receive is, do we trust the source? And when we can put people in the middle of the conversation where they're making a difference around media that they care about, it's really easy to trust it because you can see the result, right? And at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to get results in a way that inspires trust. And that's really what we focus on. Okay,
great. And I know this was your first time in Davos, and probably drinking from a fire hose and putting you on the spot here a little bit.
Yes, 20-hour days.
If you could describe your experience in Davos in one word, maybe two, maybe I'll be generous, how would you describe it?
I would say impactful, for sure. Okay. I wouldn't say overwhelming, because there's a lot of great leaders here. But I think one of the greatest things, for me personally, is I actually got to spend 2 minutes with Kofi Annan while we were here,
Very cool.
and just ask him, what is it, that we need to be focusing on and thinking about? And his message was, look, find the thing that you care about most, and whatever goal it is, and focus there, and grow where you're planted, right? And make a difference where you're at. And I think that's a message that everybody needs to hear.
Great.
So.
Well, thanks, Jonathan. This has been one of the most impactful interviews that we've had. So
Awesome.
Thanks for coming out, and take care. This is Stephen Reiff from Hub Culture. Have a good one.
Cool.